Take your mind into the wonderful world of physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kinetic Hour. Conversations with you and guests with your host, Kenan Wesley Mason.
Welcome to the Orchid, a safe and sacred place where women learn how to achieve a radical shift. We have 5 simple lessons. Become aware, learn to be grateful, to forgive, to accept, and ultimately, to discover how to be intentional in your actions. Let our teachers and healers help you awaken your inner love and power. You are not your thoughts. You are not your actions. You are not broken. You are wonderful. You are perfect. You are divine. The Orchid, the secret code of modern goddesses. Uncover your inner goddess.
And so, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Kinetic Hour. I am your host, Kenan Wesley Mason. Welcome one, welcome all, as we are streaming live, simulcasting live on Facebook, simulcasting live on Instagram, and simulcasting live on LinkedIn. So welcome to all 3 platforms. And as always, go to my YouTube and Rumble channels. It is the Kinetic Hour, and that is Kinetic, Kennetic, the Kinetic Hour. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the notifications. Make sure you click the thumbs up. Leave your comments and tell everyone that you know to leave comments regarding the comments. And it's always appreciated. I'm always grateful when I have new subscribers. So thank you to all the new subscribers. And go to my other YouTube channel, which is Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info. Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info. Make sure you subscribe to that as well. Everything physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. So make sure you subscribe to all of those. Again, thank you to everyone tuning in. As I always say, whether it's one person watching or 1,000 people watching, my voice will continue to permeate. So thank you all for tuning in. And as you can see on the side of me, my 2 guests, and I'm glad that they're here. I'm just going to read this here. Yes, exactly. So I'm going to read this here. This wife and husband duo are the co-founders of For the Highest Good, a company dedicated to creating transformative narratives that inspire personal growth and empowerment. Both firmly believe that inner well-being is the foundation for prosperity, as both have had successful business careers in media, advertising, and content distribution at companies such as Sony Pictures Entertainment, Time Magazine, and A&E Mundo. They are the masterminds behind their debut work, The Orchid, the secret code of modern goddesses. And I have my copy here, and you do too. So thank you for that as well. A Los Angeles Tribune bestseller and a reader's favorite 5-star book that invites readers to discover their inner power and find balance in their lives. It serves as a reminder that self-love, gratitude, and inner clarity are the keys to achieving success in all areas of life. And I'm glad they're both here taking the time out. Please welcome to the Kinetic Hour, Rocio, Aquino, and Angel Orengo. Thank you so much, both of you.
Yeah.
Thanks very
Or
much for
should I,
that amazing intro.
or should I say Rocio y Angel?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
That would be okay too.
Yes. And I'm glad you two are here. And again, thank you for the book, as well. Thank you so much for that. Um, I have a lot to go over with you. I've taken many notes, and
Amazing.
yeah, and the first thing I want to do is just so everyone's up to speed on who you two are. Can we just go over some fundamentals, and can you just tell us uh, what brought this union together? What were the circumstances for you two coming together? Rocio, you're from uh, Mexico City, uh,
Yes.
and which is a beautiful place. I've been there before. Been to the pyramids and the Toltec statues. So
It's, in,
Mexico City is great.
it's incredible city.
Yes, it is. And Angel being from Puerto Rico. So what were the circumstances of you two coming together to get this whole journey started? What were the circumstances that brought you two together? And any of you
So,
can answer.
yes, no, at one point we've been married for 25 years.
Okay.
And, at the beginning of our career, we used to work together. So, the first time I saw Angel was in an interview for a job. I was working with Nickelodeon and
Okay.
Sony Pictures at one point need somebody in Mexico, and he did the interview, and it's really funny because at one point he's like, I don't gonna give you the job, and I was, why? Because no, it's like you look like a really professional and incredible, so
Yeah.
I don't gonna offer nothing, and it's like, okay. So at
Well,
then,
just to clarify, the idea,
Yeah.
Kenan, was that she seemed so good at what she did that I thought that no one in their right mind would let her go from her current job. And so
Right.
it was just going to waste my time. And so I said, look, I don't think this is going to work. You're going to make me waste time. And I'm going to be here in this same place interviewing other people 2, 3 months from now.
Yeah.
And the rest is history because she said, no, offer me the job. I did. And we started working together.
yes, he
Wow.
didn't know that I was in a need of more money to
Hmm.
really get independence.
Yeah.
So at one point, I was searching, Canon, for what is life happened. So at one point, we were together, and we live in Mexico for 3 years. After we moved to Miami for 7 years. Later, we moved to Hong Kong for
Oh wow.
6 years, and then we moved to London for 4 years, and after London, no, after LA. So after going around all this, I life was happening, and I really was looking without knowing how life. So at one point, I was looking for fulfill my life, and I was looking always outside of myself. So at
Hmm.
one point, we did an investment and we lose everything, and I was really on shock.
Yeah.
And something incredible happened. He was able to really let go, and for me was like I don't know how to let go. This is super heavy. I don't want to do it. Like I don't know how to do it. So I begin to ask questions to people. How do you forgive? Please tell me the steps. And people only tell me, let it go. At one point was
Yeah, I was able to let it go. I think I knew I didn't know how to explain, but I knew about radical responsibility.
Okay.
And I was able to apply it. And I would just say to her, just let it go, not understanding that if you don't have that in yourself, it really becomes almost impossible to experience it unless you understand the steps to go through it. But she was really curious and inquisitive. And she's like, no, 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 I need the 1, 2, 3, the ABCs of letting go.
Mm.
because Kenan, when you go out of your area, and
Yeah.
then you begin to meet a lot of people from different backgrounds, like we did around the world, you
Mm-hmm.
begin to see that, oh my God, they are thinking different. They are acting in another way. They are really successful, some people, and is what is behind that success, and really is the behind the scenes is like a they now I know and I can explain, but it's to be okay with the situation always. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever presents your life, you can really align your thoughts, your words, your feelings, and your actions. So I was not there. I was all over the place, like a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
feeling my past, feeling this, feeling that. And I was looking the people, and it's like, how do you do it? But they don't know how to explain, because when you don't have maybe enough trauma, or you don't go looking because it's not normal. So in my case, I have a lot of trauma, and this was the drop who filled the glass, and it's like I cannot anymore because I have so much. So at one point, finally, I went to LA, and then I saw somebody who was feeling really well about themselves, like they know they have everything like a figure out, at least for me. A lot of love, compassion, really, really humble, super successful people, but really humble and really with the head in the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, it's like, how did you did it? And they begin to tell me their steps, and it's like at one point is Angel, they are telling me that we can study a master in spiritual psychology,
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
we can do it together. And he's because if not, I'm gonna learn a language that you don't gonna do, and really I like you. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I wanna continue to be with you, and what you say.
Yeah,
And I said, let's do it. This was
yeah.
coinciding with the end of my corporate career, and it just made sense. It was also post pandemic, Kenan. So there
Mm,
was a mindset already in place that life was, about a lot more than everything we've been used to. And
yeah,
so we
yeah,
opened up, both of us at the same time, to pursuing this further.
yeah,
And
yeah.
after doing the master for 1 year, I begin to see an immense change in myself, and all the things that I was sure that was the knowing, that was a reckoning, like a no, 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 really. Now the only thing, the new perspective, give me more opportunity for me to really explore myself from another point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the key for me to begin to go to the thread of different traumas and healing
Mm-hmm.
modalities.
Mm-hmm.
So after I was feeling better, it's like, this is incredible. We need to share this with the world,
Yeah.
because I was feeling really invincible. And it's like, imagine everyone feeling like that is gonna be incredible. So, because we came from the world of TV, it's like, let's do a TV show. And
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, the idea was great, but I said, oh my gosh, no one that I know that works in that world would say to two people who come from the business side,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, go ahead. Let's produce a show. You have no experience producing a show, but let's do it anyway. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
we said, why don't we write a book? And if we are able to write a book and convince one person and help one person shift their lives, it would have already been worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really excited to say that now it's been thousands of people who've read the book and have had profound experiences about themselves. And we're humbled and honored every day when we have conversations such as the one we're having with you, or when
Yeah.
someone sends through social media, I've read your book and it's changing my life.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing greater than that. And so that's where we are.
It's a great feeling. It's a great
Yeah,
feeling.
it's incredible and humbling.
Yeah, yeah. And before we go deep diving specifically into the book, I wanted to separately ask you two questions about the mindset going in. First to you, Rocio, because you spent time at Sony. I guess that's where you two met. But you also had time with Time magazine. Your time with Time.
Yes.
Um, so, what kind of energy did you absorb during your time with these specific companies, and what lessons did you learn along the way that excelled you into being an even greater leader leading up to the writing of the book?
Kenan, what I learned from Time magazine was being, for example, the most important part of the magazine is the men of the year. It's like a really the big issue of the year is that one.
Yeah.
So after working there, it's like what is the men of women of the year and what they do really. And since I was working there, you begin to see that at the end they are human,
Mm-hmm.
who they are really developed, very important emotional. They've been in the correct place for a reason. But but is this understanding that we can really break the ceiling for ourselves to achieve whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
And with Sony, I understand that the company was really global, really incredible company to work. And they've been like innovating for electronics. I was there, and then movies, and then all these areas that they are touching the life of billions of people. Really, it's like
Yeah.
it's possible to touch with different products.
Right.
So
Right.
so really was something incredible. But really, what can Angel can tell you more about it, because he really did a career there for 23 years.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you about that. To you, Angel, just to expand it a little bit more, because you were at Sony, and I also see that you graduated from Cornell University, which is a pretty prestigious university here. And so, what lessons did you learn, and what self discoveries did you have during your time there that gave you more information leading up to the writing of the book as well?
Mm.
Thank you for the question. There are so many, but I will tell you, and I will go back as far as Cornell.
Okay.
As a Puerto Rican, I moved to New York City around the age of 14 or 15. So I went to high school in New York. I went to Cornell after that. But even today, as I sit down with my own daughters who are now entering university or graduating from high school, where I was as a child or as a youngster then, it's so different where they are today. Why? Because I was in survival. I had no idea. I was the first one to go to college. Even people in my family were saying, well, why are you even going to college? Why just not go straight to work? Because
Right.
that's what they were used to,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
In our lives, we came from working class people, and working class people work for a living. So the idea of going to take quote unquote vacation for 4 years in order to learn something that doesn't even they didn't even understand or comprehend was out of this world. And when I got there, it was completely shocked with everything I found. There were people that were better educated than I was, had gone to private schools, were more aware of how to experience life. And so I was really privileged to go there. But at the same time, I had to work really hard to survive in staying there because it was so new to me, because the challenges were new to me. And the challenges were not only educational, but were also social, right? It
Mm.
was, I would see kids walking, stepping out of $100,000 cars. I didn't know they were $100,000 cars, but I knew a Ferrari when I saw it,
Right.
right? And and so it was a struggle to go through that. But I will tell you, God, the universe, spirit, whatever we want to call it, was always with me. And somehow it always put in front of me what I needed to do next in order to achieve and grow. And little by little, that led me to a career in entertainment. And I think that the greatest thing that I walked away with from my career in entertainment, and I was in charge of sales and business deals with regards to content distribution to broadcasters to eventually streamers and so on. But it was that a Puerto Rican kid from Puerto Rico or even the Bronx
Yeah.
could go around the world and lead teams successfully, and it didn't matter that he came from where he came. So as I opened myself up to, I can do this, I am courageous, I am going to take a chance, I can learn whatever it is, it started to shape my life. And I started to observe that people around the world are more similar than we sometimes say we are, or that other people say we are. We
Mm-hmm.
have so much in common. We are looking all to grow, to be respected, for our kids to have a wonderful experiences, to have a roof over our heads, to have a future. And so that experience gave me firsthand the ability to look at people and say, I understand you, or I understand a little bit of you, and we're not so different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is quite the journey. And for you to learn those lessons and keep them sacred with you, and then use them, use them into your next level of career endeavor, which is great. Just a couple of more questions on the business side of things before we get to the
Yeah,
book, um, because you talk about s- well, actually, traditionally it's called goal setting, but you kind of changed it around and called it mindful intention setting. So can you distinguish the two? Why should we consider using this new language of mindful intention setting versus the standard goal setting? What are the differences?
I love that. What I would say is, and you caught me off guard here, but one of the things is that when you set goals, that follows a traditional thinking that the power is outside of you.
Mm,
When you send that intention, all the power is within.
hmm.
And so for me, and one of the things that I've now grown to understand is that the more we are centered within, the more we're aligned within ourselves, the better we will be at pursuing the things that we want to accomplish in our lives. And so often enough, when you start by setting a goal, other things have to follow. And normally what needs to follow is the internal focus, the internal training, the internal skills. The other way around, that is begins first, and it begins from within. And so that is one of um, of the most important changes that I've made in my life.
Hmm.
I can also tell you, and I had a lot of growth in my corporate career. I never pursued a job. I pursued growth and expansion and knowledge.
Mm.
It happened that very often that led me to a different region of the world or to do a different job. But that's what I mean by it started within. I
Hmm.
was looking to grow myself in the process. The fact that it was accompanied by more money or a better position was almost consequential to the
Right.
fact that I just wanted to continue growing and that I saw myself as being able to help and to contribute wherever I was going.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and believe me, was uncomfortable. Is
Yeah. Oh yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
and lonely.
I tell my clients sometimes that you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable for a little
That's right.
while. You know,
Yes.
you have to be uncomfortable or be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Everything is not going to go according to plan perfectly. You know, there's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be some detours that you might have to take so you can learn a lesson that you may not have learned otherwise if you hadn't gone that route. You know, so yes. And also, you talk about uh, the great gratitude first mindset as a business strategy, which I've never heard that before, using gratitude first. Gratitude versus being grateful. So, how can we use gratitude as a business strategy?
Should I?
Yes.
Well, look, what we're trying to do, and this will take us eventually to the book.
Yes.
The book has five things, five lessons that we were the lessons we learned and we wanted to transmit: awareness, gratitude, forgiveness, acceptance, and intention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you take those somewhat superficially, you think, oh, those are traits that an individual has to experience.
Yeah.
But the truth is that when you experience those five lessons, they will change anything in which you're involved in. They will change the way you educate your children and the way you show up in relationships. And frankly, they will change the way you show up in your profession and with your teams. So gratitude. Let's just take a look, for example. Let's assume that I practice gratitude in my personal life. But how would it change a business meeting if you go and you begin that business meeting by thanking your team by everything that they just accomplished over the past month?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, it is really using the element of gratitude, but frankly, just to acknowledge what things are being done right or what are the successes that we've been able to achieve together.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, that changes mindset.
Yeah.
That puts someone at an open position of, wow, what a great team do we have. And we did achieve fantastic things. And forgiveness is no different than that, Kenan, because you can also say, and by the way, we did miss a few goals that we had set for ourselves this past month. But you know what? We'll do it next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a big deal because it's okay. There are going to be some failures along the way. Let's let it go. Let's not dwell on them. That's forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
different approach to forgiveness, but nevertheless, it is the same skills when were applied. And so we believe that by applying these five lessons in your daily life, intention, be very clear what it is that you want to achieve in that meeting that you have with your team or in that conversation that you're about to have with your daughter, right? Who's a little bit lost because she's 17. And well, at 17, you have a lot of things on your mind and
Yeah.
they're not always thinking straight. But what if my intention is to be mindful, to be strong, and to set some parameters about what we need to do in our relationship and in our conversation, but at the same time, be loving and empathetic with my daughter as we have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That changes everything.
Yeah.
So intention is really important. Also, how do you show up in life? And that's why we speak of these five things, and we believe we can apply them to any part of your life, including business.
Yeah. And you can actually, those dynamics are actually often overlooked when it comes to business endeavors. You know, and I'm glad you mentioned the fact about not just looking for a job, but looking for growth versus just looking for the job where you're working the standard 9 to 5, you're working 40 hours a week and you become complacent over a period of time versus intentionally looking for growth. Intentionally. So I'm glad you two brought that up. And so, because both of you have brought those attributes from yourself individually to the table, now we go to this book here, which is called The Orchid, The Secret Code of modern goddesses. And what I did, and I'm glad I have this here. This is from your
Ah,
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
this right here. Yeah, I
Is
like the
it
fact that
clear?
this is the
Yes.
symbol of the orchid. So I'm gonna definitely keep this here.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
but I'm gonna put something. I'm just gonna put something on the screen so I can kind of set this up here because the way you have the book, laid out is pretty. It's pretty unique. But first, just here, I just want to go here because I looked up orchid, and here orchids are often associated with symbols like love, beauty, luxury, and strength. They can also represent refinement, charm, and thoughtfulness. Additionally, orchids are linked to fertility, particularly in ancient cultures like Greece. And then you have love and romance, beauty and elegance, luxury and opulence, strength and endurance. So, with this book here, and the way you laid it out is perfect because it reminds me of like it reminds me, sometimes you have books that turn into movies, but in this case, it's like the reverse. It's almost like a movie, but it's in book form, you know? And so the way that it's laid out here, the orchid. So as I'm going here to the screen, uh, describe what we're seeing here. And I have this, I'm going to put this up here. Now, can either of you describe what exactly
Yes.
is the orchid and where we're about to go for the rest of this journey here?
Yes. Oh my God, I love it. Thank you so much. I'm really visual. So I need to see things for me for really ignite my imagination.
Yeah.
So at one point when we were doing the novel, I was in a need of really to have this property map and how we can envision every room, every place. Where is the circle for the women to meet? Where is this amazing spa? Look, what we create is like imagine the most amazing spa combined with a school plus a property full of love for every person who crossed the door really feel comfortable to go inside of them and then have the support of the place plus the support of the teachers and the healers and all the staff who are there only to ensure that you have a place full of love for you to go and roam free your imagination.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, for
Yeah.
everyone who is watching and listening, the Orchid is meant to be like an all-inclusive resort,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where you can go when you've reached the end of your best self, right? You've come to a halt and you're like, holy cow, I need to change my life or
Yes.
Yeah.
else,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes we're able to take that position, and sometimes life tells us that in many different ways, change
Ah,
or else.
right.
And
Right.
so we wanted to create a place where someone who is in that dire need could say, I need help.
Yeah.
And so the Orchid is this place, all inclusive, where you can go and across 7 days learn those 5 lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea,
Mm-hmm.
as Rocio mentioned, is that, well, what does it look like? And so I said, well, it's in my imagination. It's in our imagination. She goes, no, 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 no. I need a map.
Yeah.
So she is like, no, let's hire someone to put together a map based on all the things that we're writing about. And
Yeah.
that's how you get to what you just shared, which is really exciting because no one in any of our
Interviews.
interviews has actually asked us that question. So good for you, Ken. And we're so
Yeah.
impressed.
Well, yeah, this is, I mean, hey, this is what I do, and I like to highlight people and what they do. So because you said that, I'm gonna take it a little further, because when I read the first chapter and the introduction, speaking about the individual that created all this in the novel,
Yes.
her name is Mary, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
No, it's perfect.
So Mary went on this journey of wanting to kind of please everyone in the family, and thinking that she had to do all these things because it was tradition in the family. And so, she met this guy named Michael, and they got together, and uh, the marriage was good for a time, and she helped him in his business and all these things. And then some things happened, and they got divorced. And because her life was changing, and she started to become more traveled, and she went to kind of have some self discovery moments about
Yeah,
herself. And so she
yeah,
started to travel and picked
yeah,
up things from this spiritual guide and this spiritual person. You mentioned Reiki, which I
Yeah.
have my third degree Reiki master teacher
Wow. Wow.
certification. You also mentioned emotional freedom technique as well,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
which are all great. I've learned about all of them. Thought field therapy, which is where emotional freedom technique comes from. Um, so Mary goes on this journey, and after all that, she makes a decision to create this all-encompassing um, venue, if you will, this tranquil place, so women can come and absorb much of the energy that she was able to absorb. So, as I say that, I'm going to put this up on the screen here, because this right here is what people, or the women that go to the Orchid, when they go to the Orchid, this is what they're going to experience here. So we have we have right here. So Mary went and got teachers from all over the world, and
Yeah.
had them come to teach what they know. And you see, you have a bunch of different people from different backgrounds, and they come to the table with different modalities of energy healing or teachings. So when the women come to this facility for 7 days, they are assigned to specific teachers according to why they showed up to the Orchid in the first place, so they can have their transformations. And so we have this here, and then we have, as we go up a little bit more, now we have the ladies here that have come to this place. Now, the book highlights 5 women that came together from different backgrounds, different age groups, different levels of education. And so, what I wanted to do was take some time to kind of dissect a little bit, um, so we can all have some teaching moments.
Hmm.
Um,
Mm,
so, the first person that I'm going to bring up as I come out of here, because we have Sophia, Olivia, Nicole, Stephanie, and Jennifer. So again, they all come from different backgrounds. And so the first person we have here is Nicole, is the first person that I want to highlight as I come out of here just for a second. We'll go back to it. But Nicole, a young closeted Catholic lesbian from Texas, navigating the maze of love and acceptance. So how can we learn to accept ourselves? Because in her case, she had parental pressures, wanting to do things to please her parents and things of this nature. Um, how can we learn how to be more acceptant of ourselves as we came here to this planet with what we had and what we came here equipped with? How can we become more acceptant of it?
beautiful question. The book in 7 days takes all the characters to in a transformational journey. And remember, what they gonna read is little by little how they were doing the
Hmm.
transformation in different chapters according to what they were living in that moment.
Yeah.
But for me, the most important part of the key was to understand where were my limiting
Mm.
beliefs. In the
Mm.
moment that I begin to see what was my family, who I grew up, my culture, what is what I see in TV, what is around me, because that make you who you are. But in the moment that I was able to go and live in another place, I begin to see my family, my culture, and everything with a like a more far away, and I begin to see everything else. So I was able to see that everything is in our mind. And in the moment that you begin to open your mind, then you begin to see that, if I were to live in another part of the world, I'm going to be acting 100% different like the other part of the world.
Hmm.
Even the hair of if I were a man or a woman, my circumstance make you who you are, your
Yeah.
family. So for Nicole in this case, she was really living with this specific family. Like I grew up really, like my culture is really conservative, and the moment that you are step out was very difficult. So in my case, I need to step out because the other option, I was married by the church.
Mm.
And in the moment that I want to get the divorce was like how I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like is in people told me better to be unfaithful, but never divorce. And
Mm.
for me, that was a struggle that really I have my personal, like, oh my God, how it's not a win-win situation. It's a very difficult.
Hmm.
So in the moment that I was able to begin to see that those beliefs make me very weak, very like I was living in a nightmare. And I begin to see the separation. It's like, oh my God, I can live in another way. I can, and it's a more healthy way. So
Yeah.
the healthy way for me was in that moment that I took a decision many years ago, who was a difficult decision in the moment. But that made me be the person who I am today. And if you look at if I need to say it, do you do it again? And it's like a yes, I will do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that case, Nicole needs to make a decision. Very important.
Hmm.
And she needs to make her own decision. And this is the beauty of the book is if you are happy with something, don't change it. Only change the things that make you see yourself less than or in a very difficult situation. So begin to question, put this, put for what reason I'm making this decision. And when
Hmm.
you begin to see this decision, seen from another perspective, probably you're going to have a different answer.
Right. Yeah. Because a lot of people, from a cultural position, a lot of cultures around the world grow up with very strict and specific belief systems.
Yeah.
But as individuals, as we get older and start experiencing life, many times your family may have a certain path for you, but your soul on the inside wants something else. You know,
Yes.
your spirit is feeling something else. Your spirit wants to believe something else, something that's more satisfying to you and to yourself. And a lot
Yes.
of people have those difficulties playing tug of war with themselves because they may be fearful of losing that family cord. You know, they don't want to
Yeah.
they don't want to cut the cord so they can live their lives individually, because they're fearful if they don't follow these traditions as mom and dad laid out for me, as grandma and grandpa laid out for me, as they did it 50, 60, 70 years ago. I may not want to do it that way. I may have a different vision for myself. And that's a great thing, you know. And many times it's difficult for the family members to see that vision with you, you know, because it goes in a totally different direction that feels good for you, but it might not feel so good for the family members, which is,
Well,
go ahead.
yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, 100%. At one point, they stopped talking to me, my family, because I made that decision. And really, of course, after years, after later with time, we talk about, no, we became friends again. But is now, is that, for that reason, is super important to have these kind of conversations, Ken, for
Absolutely.
more people to begin to see that at the end, life is to enjoy life, is to
Hmm.
expand our our spirit, is to expand our way of thinking, is we was fantastic that way of thinking before because it was the way it was working, but no anymore. We need to be more flexible to really achieve, or at least to understand that the answers are not outside of us, is always inside of us, and
Hmm.
begin to question for what reason I'm acting this way. So it's an
Yeah.
invitation.
Yeah. 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 And I'm glad you clarified that, because a lot of people, um, they don't want to disappoint the immediate family, you know, because they have their own ideas, because they have their own vision of where they want to be and the endeavors that they want to, um, whether they succeed or fail doesn't matter, because it's all a learning experience, or at least that's the way we should consider taking it. Even the so-called failures, I always say look at them as learning experiences. What did you learn from it, so you can make it better the next time around? So I'm glad you clarified that, because again, so many people don't want to rock the boat when it comes to family traditions. You know, um,
And
so I'm
one of the
gonna,
things,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
and
Go
one of
ahead.
the things that happens, which is also not ideal, is that often because they don't want to rock the boat, they just go along with it. But then they are not true to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
a lack of balance begins there. And so ultimately, you're rocking a different part of the boat. You
Right.
may not be rocking your families, but you're rocking yourself. And that's where we find Nicole. Nicole is literally in a triangle with
Mm-hmm.
her partner, who she's been with for quite a while and loves her parents, who she hasn't been honest with about who she really wants to be with and her sexual orientation,
Yeah.
and frankly, with her God, because
Yeah.
she's confused, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to be one? If I'm the other, where does that leave me in my relationship with my God? And so we see that take place because so many of us are literally in that, my belief system, the people I love, and myself. How do I balance those three?
Yeah.
And so that is really the biggest challenge that Nicole is experiencing in the book. And yeah, it's really exciting to see how she evolves from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I really urge people to read the book because there are some chapters that are just real beautiful in the way in which she aligns all three.
Okay. Okay. Right. Yeah, and all of them have their stories as you do go along in the book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up one more person, and then I want to go to the 5 lessons that you were bringing up earlier. The next person I want to go to is Stephanie, and Stephanie is the only one of this bunch that's married.
Mhm.
So Stephanie, a former top model from Singapore, confronts eating disorders and haunting memories of sexual abuse that took place early in her career. So, with Stephanie, or just in general, not with Stephanie specifically in the book, but just for people in general, um, how can we develop a higher self esteem about ourselves? Because
Mm.
here in America, many women and men now are really concerned with their body image,
Mm.
how they look at themselves in the mirror, and how people perceive them as they look at them. So
Mm.
how can we develop a higher, not only a higher self-esteem, but a better, how can we, again, going back to self-acceptance, how can we accept ourselves more when it comes to self-esteem, body image, and our relationship with food? Because that's right up my alley.
Let me try to answer, and then you let me tell you, Canon. Like something incredible happened between Angel and I when we met each other, and I was at 28. I was already feeling that I was not pretty enough, tall enough. Nothing was enough.
Mm,
Nothing. And I was beautiful, but it's like a forget it.
yeah.
That is like a, you are not Miss Mexico. So, and
Yeah.
because you are
Right.
not Miss Mexico, you are nobody.
Yeah.
So what I discovered after working in Time Magazine and many TV enterprises is that then the advertising sales sells you things and ideas, and this idea and this concept of who is beautiful. So when I was growing up, the only beautiful people were blonde and were super tall and skinny, really Barbie.
Yeah.
And you didn't see no one reflected like a Latin. So, of course, I was always very conscious that I was always fat. I was never perfect.
Hmm.
So I have my share of problems with the food, and really I was not able to enjoy wearing a dress until I was 50. So,
Wow. Okay. Okay.
okay, why? Because I was asking or trying to look like somebody that society told me that I should look. So, in the moment that I begin to understand that was only an idea, is marketing. They want to sell you to for you to feel better, but then you don't gonna feel better. And this is a circle. And I discovered this, that at the end, the most important is when you love yourself, you understand that who you are, and who you are perfect already.
Hmm.
So, and you need to have, and that's why we put it in the book at the end, you need to have a balance for you to how you feel, who you are in that moment. And is from a place of, instead of being a victim of the circumstance, you became a somebody who takes charge of your life and your situation.
Hmm.
And what I mean is like of course I don't gonna see people like me in the TV. Well, doesn't matter. I'm gonna I this is my soul came
Yeah.
to this body.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy the body the way it is.
That's right.
So accept yourself what you have. Really everything is working. I was my worst enemy. No one has been able to talk to me the way I talk to myself.
Hmm.
So, really, when you begin to understand that is, like I was trained to really put myself for failure. And when I discovered that and I begin to put it with perspective, here we put it in the chapter of awareness
Hmm.
and through all the book with the different experience of the women. So at that point, we say something super important. The most important people here is you. And number one. Number two, everything that you invest in yourself is gonna multiply for 1 million. Really.
Right. Yeah.
So every penny of self-esteem and how to do it and how you feel better. And when you are feeling again horrible, terrible, it's like that, no? You know? Let me enjoy my body, let me enjoy the stretch. And it's like if those genes are not perfect, the genes is the fault of the genes, is not my fault because it's not my body. And begin to understand that I don't need to compare to anyone,
Hmm. Hmm.
that everyone feels insecure. And it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. So this commonality really help to begin to see my own beauty. And that's why, for example, the book is called The Orchid, because you have more than 30,000 orchids around the world, and
Hmm.
all of them are perfect.
Yeah.
So the same we want to say here is every person, every woman, every man is already perfect.
Hmm.
And the best suit and the best is the attitude that you carry yourself. Is like, do you love yourself? Do you really respect your body? Is the only suit that we have from this life. So how you gonna treat it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was really punching back a lot
Hmm.
and no anymore. And now I can transmit this to my daughters and for them
Right.
to understand that they need to love themselves in so many ways. And this is only the beginning.
Right. It is only the beginning. And later on, I do want to ask you a question about what you call radical parenting, since you brought up about your children, because I have a 10-year-old daughter about to go into middle school. So
Beautiful.
she's making that transition. But before we go there, I'm going to put this on the screen here so we can discuss this because you brought it up earlier. But I'm going to bring this up here. Let's see. Where am I going here? I think it's right here. So I'm going to bring this up. Let's see. Where am I going? Here we go. So you brought up there's 5 teachings when in the book for those that go to the Orchid. There's 5 things you want to come out with. And one thing that's big for me, you brought up how you talk to yourself and things like that. Positive self-talk is huge, um, and it's okay to talk to yourself. Actually, it's major for you to talk to yourself because you can talk yourself into success or you can talk yourself into mediocrity,
That's right.
as Les Brown would put it, mediocrity. Um, so this first one here, and I'm real big on this. The more and more that I observe life, is awareness. So, what is your definition of awareness, and how can we apply it to daily life?
Well, look, for us, awareness, and there's many definitions, but the one we focus on the most is take a step back and look at yourself. Look at every aspect of what you do, how you think, how you talk, how you act, how you feel in certain circumstances. Um, Sit on a seat in a theater and look at the play of your life. Do you like it? Do you like what you see? Do you like the way you react when you are speaking with your daughter, when you're speaking with your partner, when you are at work with your boss? observe how you react. If you can, separate yourself from yourself and look at you and
Right.
begin to question, where does that come from? Do I like it? Do I not like it? If you don't like it, there's one further question, which is, do you want to change it? Because if you don't want to change it, that's okay. That's a choice. That is your choice. But there are consequences to all of those decisions. In science right now, it's been proven that the moment that something is observed, and by observing, I mean something being looked at,
Hmm.
it changes.
Yep.
And if you have any questions, anyone who's a parent knows that the moment they start looking at their child starts to behave differently. All you have to do is look at them.
Yeah.
When I grew up, my grandma would just look at me and give me those eyes, and I knew I needed to stop.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So the term awareness here, it's really to become more conscious of the whys in your life, of the reasons why things happen. But it could go further. For example, we were talking about um, Stephanie and the messages that she was receiving and that we all receive. It for a long time, many of the Disney movies, the princess movies,
Mm.
ended in the woman in the arms of the knight
Right.
or the equivalent.
Yeah.
Someone is gonna come to rescue.
Someone is
Yeah.
going to come
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
rescue you.
Yeah.
And little by little, it's been changing. And we all know that when Frozen came out, the true love was between sisters,
Right. That's right.
right? And so sometimes it is just being aware that the messages that are out there have a dual purpose. They want you to feel differently, they want you to act differently. When somebody says, have you bought the latest brand of vehicle? There's an element in there that is set up so that you feel uncomfortable, bad, not satisfied, not complete, whatever that is, because you don't have the latest whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One last example in many romantic movies for a long time, if you look, and I especially, and I mention this because the messages are not, it's not that they don't exist for men, but they somehow, it feels like they exist more for women.
Yeah.
But for example, when a woman breaks up, when she's, when somebody breaks up with her, the modus operandi of the situation needs to be that she goes into the freezer, takes out ice cream, and eats
Yeah.
herself to death,
Right. Yeah.
to drown her feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But if we had changed that movie to have a message that was, call your best friend right now and go on a walk with her in the forest or in the park and be honest with herself and share your feelings, the outcome would have been different. The same with men, right? And so we've been taught to use force to get, because that's the way we are, or to hold back our tears because showing emotion is not a good thing. And so be aware of the messages and at what you consume, be it through your eyes, through your ears, through your stomach, through
The
your
music.
senses.
Yes,
Yeah.
all the senses.
And so that's awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we mean by that. And it's just to become more conscious of how and what you consume in your life in every aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Self-awareness is huge.
Gigantic.
It is gigantic. Where there's so many things that surround us every second of the day, but
No,
we're only consciously aware of maybe a handful of them throughout the day, because our minds are here, there. We're in fight or flight mode. We're stressed about this, stressed about that.
And
So
then even you mentioned before, even eating, you
yeah,
notice it, right? Because sometimes we almost automatically go to the refrigerator and pick up the next thing. But the
right,
question, do we even ask ourselves, am I hungry?
right, yeah, yeah,
Do I need this?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember one of my guests previously was saying, when you're going to the refrigerator, you're not really hungry. So, what are you really hungry for? You know, what are you really hungry for? It's not for the food.
Right.
The food just gives you the feeling in the moment. But what are you really hungry for? You know, um, and it's something within that many of us are searching for, or that we hunger for or yearn for. Again, that self-approval, that self-fulfillment, and everything that parallels with it. So I'm glad you clarified that when it comes to awareness. When it comes to awareness, and I'm gonna I'm gonna go back real quick because I want you to
Let
do
me
one
let
more.
me
Yeah,
add
go ahead.
something.
Yeah.
When somebody goes, imagine if you go to the fridge and
Hmm.
then is that feeling that you just described.
Yeah.
If you sit down and begins to write to yourself, you can really have a conversation with that feeling, the feeling of what I'm looking, and that is going to give you clarity.
Hmm.
And when you have clarity, you can begin to act. But
Hmm.
it's like a process that you need to experience to have that clarity, because if at one point you feel like your body
Yeah.
is full of energy and sadness and really like a loneliness, or I'm not good enough, you don't have the clarity to really know exactly what you need.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
why it's so important what we did in the book and the novel, to try to put the different examples of all these women and how everyone was resolving things, because that gives you a guide for
Yeah.
you to begin to understand you. The most amazing part of this is, how can I get to know me better?
That's right.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So this is mine, this is for my mother, this is from the past, this is from right now, this is when I was a child and nobody was putting attention on me. Or what is this? So when you begin to go little by little to understand you, it's like ah, now I get me.
Yeah.
And that is the aha moment.
Hmm. Right. The aha moment when everything just all of a sudden clicks,
Clicks.
you know,
Yes.
and you begin to become in alignment with yourself. You may
Yes.
not be all the way there just yet, but at least you're
And
aware
doesn't
now.
matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if is don't run.
Yeah.
Be nice to yourself. We didn't know better. For
Yeah.
that reason, we didn't different.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
begin to understand, if
Yeah.
I was in those shoes, I'm gonna do the same. That's why don't judge anyone. Don't compare yourself to anyone.
You know,
Right.
one of the
Right.
core principles of our book,
Yeah.
and certainly now of our philosophy of life, is you have all the answers inside of you. And I know that it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
many people is like, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We know. But the issue is not that you don't know the answers. The issue is that you're not making the space
Hmm.
for those answers to become clear.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
it silence, be it meditation, prayer, walking in nature, writing, journaling, whatever it is, allow yourself that space. I think
Yeah.
the great poet Rumi used to say, between the action and the reaction,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
space. Just go there for a second,
Yeah.
create that space and wander there. That's why they say to many kids, to many parents, let your kids be bored. It is in the
Yeah.
boredom
Yeah.
that creativity arises. And it is in that space that we find those answers. And they're
Hmm.
different for everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my answers and Kennan's answers are different.
Yeah.
And for our listeners as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
give space for the answers to come to you.
Right. Or be open enough to allow those answers to be revealed to you,
Yes.
and then be open enough to embrace them as
Yes.
well. Don't deny them. Don't try to push back,
You may
you
not
know.
like them.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Again, being comfortable with being uncomfortable,
That's
you
right.
know.
That's right.
You got to go through some fires and some forests, and before you go get to the other side of clarity, or having clarity of who you truly are on the inside, or who you're becoming in the process.
That's
who you're
right.
becoming in the process. Um, and I'm glad you two clarified that as well. So I'm going to bring this back up on the screen here because this is one of the big ones that I wanted to talk about. We talked about gratitude earlier in the broadcast, uh, and we talked about acceptance as well. So I want to go to forgiveness, releasing lingering bitterness. So, how do you define forgiveness, and why are so many people hesitant to forgive, whether it's other people or whether it's themselves? Why are so many people hesitant to be forgiving?
Because we don't know that is the key to freedom.
Mm, okay.
So in the moment that you begin to forgive anyone, anything, yourself, you really are free.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and again, like you said right here, releasing lingering bitterness. Um, Many people are they have this resentment or bitterness of things that they may have done, things that may have been done to them, arguments they may have had with parents, arguments they may have had with coworkers, different things that have happened in the life journey. And uh, forgiveness is freedom. It is
It is.
being able to forgive, and you have something called intentional forgiveness. So, what is intentional forgiveness? How do you combine the two?
Well, you know, it's a process. One of the things that we're trying to share in this book is that really your growth, the road to this liberation, to living a better life, to living a fuller life, is not coincidence.
Hmm.
I mean, you may be in automatic pilot, but automatic pilot leads you in all sorts of directions because, well, there's influences.
Hmm.
But the moment that you become intentional in the way you lead your life, and it goes back to what we were saying before, even in awareness, how what you listen to, what you eat, the reasons you do something, you become the master, the captain of your ship.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, let's take a step further. If someone told you that not forgiving is like carrying a hot coal in your hand, and that the longer you carry it, the sicker you will become, you're going to have cancer,
Debilitating.
it's going to debilitate you, it's going to give you health problems, and it is because you're carrying that hot coal. At some point, from a very intentional mind is, do I want to continue carrying this?
hmm
Because it's frankly, if it's not helping me in any way, but in fact, it's causing negative heaviness and unwanted results, then why? I'm going to let it go.
yeah,
We want people to think about intentional forgiveness as a gift that they're giving to themselves,
Yes.
not necessarily something that they're doing for that person who hurt them in the past, or that situation who caused them harm or pain or grievances. But think of forgiveness as a gift to yourself. It's like recharging your battery. The
yeah,
moment you let go of that weight you carry, imagine saying, I'm going to climb 13 floors because the elevator is broken, but I'm going to carry I don't know, a bag of potatoes that is 50 pounds, right? That is not forgiving. Not forgiving is carrying a bag of potatoes of 50 pounds with you wherever you go.
mm-hmm.
You don't need to
Hmm.
carry the bag.
Yeah,
Why don't you just leave it? Put it on the floor
hmm
and walk up the stairs, and all of a sudden you feel lighter. The moment you let go of what happened to you in the past, you begin to walk a lighter path.
yeah,
We have been, we're really taken aback a lot, Kenan, and there's so many instances in our society in which forgiveness is needed. But I'm going to go back because we had the benefit of being close to a number of people who have been associated with the Rwandan genocide.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
1 million people were slaughtered in 3 months.
yeah.
And Rwanda is a place where people are learning to live next to each other, both the people who committed the atrocities and the people who were on the receiving end. So I think it is possible to let go. I think it is possible to choose intentionally that what happened to me 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago, 50 years ago is not going to define the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's intentional forgiveness. Yes, that doesn't mean I exonerate those people or that situation
On my past.
or my past,
I
because
didn't grow up in the correct zip code with the correct
Right.
whatever sex, so I didn't correct it. It's like so many things that you can use yourself to put your down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's so important. Is paramount, really,
Yeah.
for people to begin to learn how to transform that energy. And really, that's the real al- alchemy
alchemy.
to something that you hate, or you were a victim, or whatever, to, that I can transform that energy to neutral.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then life, you begin to see life from another place. And when you begin to see the life from another place, you begin to have the seat on the table. Everything happens different. So it's not like someone is going to come to give me anything, the forgiveness. So I wait for somebody. It's like it's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to go and I'm going to create it, because no one is going to come to create the table for me to sit in. I
Mm-hmm.
need to create the table. And everyone, if we understand that we are not in competition, that really what is for you is for you and what is for me, we begin to see that if Canon feels better about himself and he's helping to transmit this information to more people, then more people are going to feel better. And we are in another collective consciousness. The
Mm-hmm.
same collective consciousness like is in Rwanda right now. Really, people are thriving and the country are doing good things. The best part, Canon, is no one is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of this, that, okay, I can change, I can do this. So that's super important.
There's something beautiful to end. There's something beautiful that the Rwandans say is, yes, it is part of my history, but it will not define my future.
That's right. Yeah, the same thing happened in uh, Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe. They had to go through the same kind of transitioning period so they can get their freedom. And they changed the country name, but they had to go through some hard times, if you will, um, similar to what happened in Rwanda. Um, and people came out on top, and now the country's thriving. So yeah, all of us are perfectly imperfect, and we can transform or transmute the negative,
That's right.
whatever negatives that have happened in our lives. We can transmute them, learn from them, and create something new or better.
That's right.
All of us are creators by nature. We came here as creators. So if all of us have a brain to create, let's start from there and let's build it and expand it.
Yes,
Expand it. What you think about most of the time, it expands. And then you become the magnet. People will come to you for your services. People will come to you for your book. People will come to you for your knowledge. I think Rocio, you have a background in psychology and things of this nature. One of you have a background in psychology. Um, all of us have the wherewithal to, well, actually, many of us come to the table with the same kind of um, adversities that these five ladies came to the Orchid with.
That's right.
Um,
Yes.
but as we become more aware, self-aware, we can transmute all the internal roadblocks,
Yes.
the energy blocks, and we can transmute them so we can be free, we can be lighter, and we'll be able to do more because we don't have that heavy baggage or this dark cloud hovering over us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we don't know which way to turn for something better. you know so um so I'm glad both of you talked about that as far as forgiveness, forgiving yourself, and also forgiving others. Whether you speak to them verbally or not is irrelevant. You can forgive people in your mind, and it can translate,
That's
or,
right.
or you can project it or broadcast it, because the brain is a transmitter and receiver. So you can broadcast that thought to any person around the world, and somehow, some way, they'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Or even if they don't pick it up, the fact that you've released it,
That's right.
that means now you've taken yourself one step further towards personal freedom.
We put it in the book.
Yeah.
We put several tools for people to really take them with them and use it. And
Mm,
one example is write a letter to that person
mm,
and tell everything, and you can burn the letter. Don't give it to them. And only with doing that, you are putting all the energy in the letter and is leaving your body.
yes.
So, of course, is that's why we are in the book. 90% of the book is how the book is 10% of the drama of the women and 90% how the women transform themselves.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. When I was doing my holistic psychology course, I had to do that. I had to do a lot of writing about specific people that have come into my existence, my journey, and had some adversities with. And I have to write those things down so I can get this heavy energy out of me, so I can become lighter. Negative energy and adversity is heavy. It's thick, dense energy, and it
Mhm.
can get stuck in the body. So my job was to go within and clear some of this stuff out. It's like peeling the layers of the onion until you get to the core. Onions make you cry. You might shed a few tears, which is a great thing because you're releasing these heavy emotions. So shedding
Mhm.
tears is a great thing. Um, and these tears can be measured as well. They can be measured scientifically. And releasing this energy is great for the individual, so they can see themselves in a different light, and they can take themselves to a higher vibration or frequency of life. They can take themselves to that level. Before we start to wrap up here, I want to go back to parenting just for a minute, because you talked about uh, radical parenting. So, and I mentioned that I have a 10-year-old daughter. She's about to finish her elementary school years
Baby.
and go into her middle school, junior, or we used to call it junior high school,
Right.
but now middle school. So, how can children build what you call unshakable confidence? Not necessarily arrogance, but confidence and emotional intelligence as well. Because if children see this, whether it's now, 5 or 10 years from now, the same the same message can resonate. So what do you say to, or what can you tell children and how they can build, again, what you call an unshakable confidence and emotional intelligence?
So the number one thing is the parent. The parents needs to be
Coherent.
coherent
Coherent,
with
yes.
what how they act and how they transmit the space, right? Because the
Mm,
parents says, I
mhm.
love you, but I hate you, but I love you, but I hate you, but I,
Yeah,
you know, it's
right.
like the message for the kid is messed up.
Yeah,
So really is super important that the parents pull the safe mask for be the best version of themselves possible, because the kids are taking everything for them. So
And they're
that's,
watching
they are
closely.
watching every move that you are doing. How
yeah.
you, if you say a lie to a person in the street, is, I prefer in my case to do a full disclosure. I did this for this part, and it is like I need to feel really comfortable saying full disclosure. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm doing this for this, because they gonna try to prove you in every, because our the biggest teachers are our kids.
Right.
So
That's right.
wh- when they feel unconditional love, and that moment is like I'm loved, I'm special, and we begin to help them to feel like that. An example happened. I was in a conversation with my daughter 2 days ago, and it's like she has a body dysmorphia at one point, and it's like how do you think that this gets you? And she, because you didn't have, and I say to her, probably social media, right? And it's like, no, mommy, I didn't have social media. You didn't
Mhm.
have magazines. You didn't allow me to watch commercials. So really was only for the TV that I was not feeling that I was enough.
Mm.
And then when I begin to have social media in middle school, high school, then was is like an attack of who you are, like a person, like a woman, really. So even though that I was putting all my effort, and even though that I was really supporting with different tools and teaching them the tools, they were they were caught, because the system has been is is a system that make you feel less than.
Mhm. Mhm.
So really is open conversations, is begin to, for them to show them that they are capable to do miracles, to
Yeah.
really to stay in the highest vibration possible, to be curious, to have friends who they are not conforming, but they are begin to question, or a group of parents that help you to really looking forward for not being the normal, to don't comply to society. When you are really busy, people don't care.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we have shows like, I don't know if you saw it, the show. What is the show that is super difficult for teenagers?
The one in the UK,
Adolescence
adolescence.
in Netflix.
Okay. Okay.
So is you have parents who they were thinking that they were doing the best, but at one point they lost the connection with the son, because it's teenagers. Teenagers, you don't talk to them. I never complied to whatever society was telling me. I
Mhm.
did my own thing, because really I have the understanding that I have the freedom to really go and have conversations with them, and to try to understand them from their point of view, and to question my old way of growing. My mom was really nice person, but instead of saying, oh, you look great, is like you should cover because you look a little bit fat. And
Mm.
you see, it's like this subtle language is awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's awareness. Really, your kid is this flower who is powerful, but if we begin to send them, you
Mm-hmm.
begin to make them feel small and compliant to be less than or wherever. So we really need to make them feel better from inside to the outside.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
say whatever you are saying is important, and
Yeah.
I'm going to take you seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there is another way for other people to think about, no, no, but this is my house, this is my rules. And I try to apply that to my kids, and one of them say, no, no, mommy, this is my house too. And at that moment, it's like, you are right. Now that you are telling me this, we are in an equal situation of then you need to help to have more balance in this house. And is according to harmony and
Right.
how we can found it between you and I. So the radical responsibility is for me to give full transparency of what we are saying, what we are doing. I feel terrible, I feel good. It's like it's not like I'm the best friend, no, because I need to continue to provide the space for them to grow. But is I'm doing on my way, and I don't compare myself to anyone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. I do think that the five lessons that we have spoken about today, Kenan,
Yeah.
apply to anybody. We've seen it with our 14-year-old. We've seen it with my mom at her 76 years old. And because at the end, everyone will take it, will enter into these five lessons, into these five skills from wherever they are. So let's take your 10-year-old. If she starts feeling grateful and experiencing gratitude about the life that she has,
Yeah.
the impact that someone is going to have when they come to her and say, where your life isn't that good,
Mm-hmm.
she's going to say, well, maybe, but I'm pretty grateful with what I already have, right?
Right.
Or it's like, what happened yesterday? And if your daughter learns that forgiveness is really important, that person is not going to have a hold on her. And if
Mm-hmm.
your daughter becomes really intentional, then she's going to show up to her conversation with you and say, Daddy, sit down. There's something I need to tell you.
Yeah. Oh
If
yeah.
you're really intentional and present, you're going to know not to react immediately. And
Mm-hmm.
you're going to take a breather when she's telling you that she messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're going to
Yeah.
say, it's okay, honey. We all messed up. In fact, let me tell you about the time that I screwed up doing this, this, and that. And
Right.
all of a sudden, it becomes a dialogue between two individuals at two different stages of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't become the struggle when it really, one of the moments in which it becomes more difficult is when our daughter says, someone is bullying me, and we go back to our memory of being bullied.
Yeah. Yeah.
We transfer that, then becomes our struggle and their struggle in one, and all of a sudden we erupt like a volcano and it becomes gigantic. That's when it challenges. And so we exhort every person, we encourage every person who's listening, take care of yourself first, because
Mm-hmm.
the more neutral and harmonious that you can show up at any stage of your life to any stage of your life, whether it's with your daughter at whatever stage of her life,
Mm-hmm.
the better you will be in parenting. And the better you equip her with those lessons, and I'm sure there's many others, but really mindsets that are enriching for growth and emotional intelligence, the better she will be in dealing with the challenges that she's going to face. And yes, we can tell you more practical things. Bring back social media. Social media, it's already proven, it's now scientifically proven by many studies that it's impacting
Yes,
our children's happiness.
disconnection.
It's
Yeah.
disconnect them. It's not real,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
much of it is being done in artificial intelligence, in
Oh
Photoshop.
yeah, definitely.
And so we're competing against ideals, and the better our children are equipped, and to be fair, they're built now differently. Our
Yeah,
kids are prepared to have bigger conversations, tougher conversations at an earlier time that perhaps we were ready ourselves.
yeah,
And the last thing I will say, they are stronger than we think, but they need
yeah.
integrity in their lives. If they see you with integrity and you say, going back to, I screwed up too, don't worry, let me give you an example of how I
Because
screwed
I'm
up.
not perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I do this to my kids that I learned through the travels and to see very successful people. I don't let anything out. I'm going to show you about finance. I'm going to show you about responsibility, consequence, loving your body, loving yourself, your mind, to take challenge, sex, like everything for them age appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
them to really feel like you know, it's not so difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can handle this and be successful and have a place in the table. So
Yeah.
I involve them in when we are making decisions.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
assume that anyone else is going to have the right conversation with your children about any topic.
Right.
So it's on you. And yes, if you're a single father and you have, and I don't know your story, but I'm using it as
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
If you're a single father and you have a 10-year-old daughter, it's going to be your responsibility to make sure that she hears at the right age about sex and about relationships and
Yeah.
how to protect herself. Don't expect anyone else to do that. Now, if you're not ready, get help, find a friend, bring her, whoever it is. But that's how we've approached our children.
Yeah.
We have very little things, if any, that we have left out of conversations. For example, our daughters know that we were both victims and survivors of sexual abuse.
Okay.
We've spoken about it so that they are aware that these things are real. Now, they also see how we don't allow those things to define our lives.
Right.
And so they've become real powerful themselves for their age. And I think that if we do that, if you become really intentional, and by the way, we often say there are no manuals that come along with kids. I
Ah,
think
that's
we need
right.
to stop saying that. There's an incredible amount of great books and podcasts out there that are now sharing great information about parenting.
Mhm.
So the information is available, but of course, at the end, it's up to you whether those things are important. Do you have the time? So on and so forth. And we encourage people to make the time. It's really critical.
We can continue to talk about parenting, believe me,
We
because
love it.
it's so much to talk about it.
Oh
And
yeah.
but it's like let's stop
And
and maybe another time
and it's
more.
Oh,
one of
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
one of the greatest privileges of both our lives
Yeah.
to be parents of two amazing daughters who are growing, who are making mistakes, but who are that they're learning at an early age who they really are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do the best I can. My daughter, her mother, we do the best that we can to be as transparent as possible and leave the dialogue door wide open. So, she feels that she can come to us about anything first versus going to, like you said, the friends or a teacher or whoever.
Because they
The
will.
right, come to us first so that way, because again, with us not being so perfect ourselves, been we've been through the adolescent years. I call them the awkward years. We're kind of learning who we are and
Yeah.
what we like, what we dislike. So as she is transitioning from childhood into her adolescent years, and she's well aware that her self is changing, slowly but surely. She sees that her physical self is changing. Her voice is starting to change a little bit, and she's asking more in-depth questions about life. Even at her young age. And so I have to take my parent ego out, as many parents would it be suggested that we do, and meet the child where they are,
Yeah.
and that way all of us can have some learning moments.
Yeah.
Because
Beautiful.
children are smarter than we give them credit for.
For sure.
They just are.
100%.
Yes.
15-year-old daughter came one day home and said, if one more person says, "Oh, what do you know? You're so young." She's
Ah,
like,
right.
I'm gonna hit them in the head.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
know a lot. Ask me.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Younger people, and they are in a different time. We're in a technological era, and so more things are available to them, as far as learning is concerned. So we take it. We need to help them to take advantage of it, but also have them know that there is a human element that they can come to us
Of course.
for that part of it. Um, so Rocio and Angel, I want to thank you two for uh, taking the time out. We're going almost 2 hours now, but the conversation's been great.
Amazing.
Um, Tell everyone where we can find you.
Everybody, you can find us at the Orchid Book, pretty much in every social media platform. You can do that by www.theorchidbook.com or Instagram or YouTube. And
We're going to have a book club for July.
Okay.
yes, we're
Okay.
having we haven't posted it yet, but we're going to have an open book club for anyone who has bought the book and would like to be part of more in-depth conversations like the one we've had now
Yeah.
surrounding the book, its teachings, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when I was looking at as we're looking at the website right now, which is great, I was looking at the website, and some recommended you have some recommended books as well. And
Yes.
I was looking at one of them, and I was like, wait a minute, I have this book as a part of my library. This one right here.
Oh,
Ah,
yes.
Uh,
fantastic.
um,
We love him.
We love him.
yes, this is the one and only Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. And it's
Yes.
funny that I saw that book because Dr. Beckwith, he blessed my daughter back in 2016.
Oh,
Ah,
Um, yeah, at the old Agape in Culver City. And
oh, wow.
so I got to stand next to Dr. Beckwith and kind of soak up some of that energy. And I got to meet him at a seminar that he was doing back in 2012. So I have some pictures with him as well back then. This was right before he cut all of his hair off, because he's bald like me now. So I was kind of glad that I saw that was a part of your book recommendations, spiritual liberation.
he is incredible. Is really we have so many masters and
Teachers.
teachers
Yeah.
and right now available that really what is happening is really we are changing. A lot of people are has more tools available than 30 years ago.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
and the good part when he saw the book is like your book is big and it's like
Yeah,
oh thank
yeah, yeah,
you.
yeah,
It's like he was seeing the energy of love that
yeah,
is imprinted in the book.
yeah, yeah. And I haven't read the whole thing. It's a pretty lengthy book, but very. It's an easy read as well.
Yeah.
And once you start to get into all the characters, it just kind of flows.
Yeah.
It just kind of flows. Final question for both of you, and both of you can answer separately. And I like to ask this question to my guests: what does life mean to you?
Hmm. Is for me is the sum of many moments. It's like a and how incredible it is to experience and to be alive, to experience the feelings of gratitude, the feeling of calm, the feeling of success, the feeling is this the sadness, and I can't tell you, for me life is to enjoy it and be joyful and really hopeful place to be at, and I cannot ask for a better time than right now. It's like I know a lot of people doesn't like right now, but it's for me super wow, how exciting to live in a moment with
Yeah.
so many changes and be part of the movement of hope and positivity and possibility and creativity. So it's super exciting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exciting, love, energy. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel really lucky.
Good. Good.
For me, to whoever is watching and listening, somewhere along the way, God, Spirit, the universe said, I'm going to make something and it's going to look like Kenan. I'm going to make something else and it's going to look like Angel. It's going to look like Rocio. And I am going to experience myself through that being.
Mm,
Life for me is the fullest expression of that power in this form. Life for me is God experiencing himself as angel,
mm-hmm.
as only angel can,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore only God can. And then
Right.
as Kenan and as Rocio, it is the greatest privilege to be experiencing everything that we experience, to make mistakes, to learn, to grow, to swim, to fly, to be parents. Life for me is just a grand experiment that each one of us fulfills independently in magnificent ways.
Mm.
And it is both exciting and sometimes a little bit scary,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but so absolutely fulfilling when you find the formula, when you realize that life is about you experiencing yourself fully,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes the greatest journey ever imaginable.
Yeah.
And we've read great stories, we've heard great stories, but none will compare to yours.
Right. Right. The highest form of energy is within us as us, like you
Yes.
Yes.
said. Yeah. And I like both of those answers. Um, Again, I want to thank you two for taking the time out. And this is the book right here. It's called The Orchid, The Secret Code of Modern Goddesses. And here it is. And again, I want to thank you two for sending me this book here. For
Mm.
everyone listening and watching, go and get it. It's a great read. It'll take you to a higher place. It'll take you to a higher place of not only learning about yourself, but just making yourself just a little bit better.
Yeah,
Just a little bit better as a daily practice. Just make yourself a little bit better.
that's
Uh,
right.
so the Orchid, go get it. Go to the website, theorchidbook.com. Check out Rocio and Angel. I want to thank you two so much. And come back to the Kinetic Hour.
Thank
Um,
you.
there's so much more that we can talk about. We can deep dive into the other characters. We can go into more technical
Please.
stuff about the 5 lessons. And you have something here. You are not your thoughts. You're not your actions. You are not broken. You are wonderful, which is wonderful is a word that I picked up that was used a lot during my holistic psychology course.
Mm,
Wonderful. So I always tell people that yes, you are wonderful and full of wonder.
Oh,
So
yes.
so you are wonderful, perfect, and divine. So again, I want to thank you two for gracing the stage with me here on the Kinetic Hour. Again, the orchidbook.com. Check out Rocio and Angel. Thank you so much to you two for coming on the Kinetic Hour, and to everyone listening and watching. Once again, go to my YouTube channels and Rumble channel, the Kinetic Hour, KENNETIC. Make sure you subscribe. Tell everyone that you know to tune into these shows. Share these shows with everyone that you know. As always, I'm grateful for all of you tuning in. There's 1,000 podcasts that you can be listening to. So thank you for tuning in to the Kinetic Hour. And to everyone listening and watching, until next time.